With the death of one car comes the life of another. I could sing some really cheesy Lion King song right now, but I'm not. What we have here, I think I even got ownership with it. This is a 2002 Honda Accord. And we're going to build this for an SS Mini, so straight stock, meaning zero modifications. I think I can change bumper to another steel bumper, but if it's got bumper shocks, I got to leave it. It's a shame because this car is actually a very clean car. It smells like a clean Honda. If any of you guys that know what clean Hondas smell like, they all smell the same. I don't know how many kilometers it has on it. It does run, it just needs a boost. And it comes with a Disney's Aladdin. Oh, Lady and the Tramp on this side. And Aladdin on this side. So, I'm going to keep that taped, that's for sure. It's an automatic, but pretty clean. The only rust I've seen is right there. I'm not too overly concerned. And I think there's a little bit on the other side as well, but not too overly concerned. It's still pretty clean. Oh, as I put my foot through it, so I'll just stop kicking it. Maybe that'd be the best thing, is not to kick it. But anyway, so with these cars here, you have to be very, very careful on when you buy a 2000s or even late 90s Accords. And the reason for that is not because Hondas are just known to be Hondas, but the reason is because of the wheelbase. Now around here, anything that is 106 and V6 is big car. Anything that's 4-cylinder is basically always 4-cylinder, so small car. So when you buy them, you always have to check to see if it's a 4-cylinder motor or a 6-cylinder. 6-cylinder ones of these will make you run big car. 4-cylinders will obviously make you run small car. So it's always kind of up in the air to which ones you should buy. A lot of people like to run big car with Hondas because they're fast and they're strong and they can kind of get out of the way of the hit. But honestly, I don't think these things would really last up against a Lumina or a Crown Vic. Like, yeah, there's the odd derby where they come out on top, but usually it's just luck, right? But in small car, they actually put up a pretty decent fight, I think. So we have ourselves a small car Honda Accord, and we're going to strip it and throw it into the big ugly van. So let's get going, I guess. So I took my time on this car. I had a rough day today. I got pretty pissed off at work. I got pretty pissed off at a guy trying to buy my Firebird. But you know what? I took my time. I used no power tools. All I used was ratchets and I think a 10 mil, 12 mil, and 14. These Honda Accords are super easy to take apart. Like basically almost every new car these days Electrical is super easy. As you take a look, I've already got all this electrical taken out all the way up there. And then this side, I have it all out except for the 2 wires to the fuel pump. And everything else is disconnected. I've disconnected the airbags. I've taken out the whole dash. Basically, everything is very easy to do on this. The radio even works. So I was listening to music and that Aladdin soundtrack while doing this. I wasn't listening to Aladdin, don't worry. But the only thing that really went bad is I broke the key in half. So I just used a hammer and basically hammered the key into the ignition. So now the key doesn't come out, but the car still runs and starts. I was kind of worried that I'd have to hotwire it, but turns out I don't have to. I'm still going to do my regular thing where I bypass the starter, but that's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. But what I'm saying though is these Accords are so easy. Any Honda is basically so easy to take apart. Very limited tools. Basically everything that comes apart super easily. Even underneath the hood. As you can tell, I've got the headlights out. All this wiring is removed. And it's basically just right here. All I did was just move it, and I reconnected the grounds. Even though the car ran without these grounds, I think they were just for headlights, I still reconnected them. That side there does feed the rad fans, so I am leaving the rad fans in because they work. I'm just going to leave them in. And then again over here, I unplugged the ABS module, just pulled the headlights back, and there's all the wiring for this side. So there's no wiring in the fenders. It's super easy, and I highly recommend Hondas for a new derby driver. Another thing that I like to do with these Hondas is I look through the fuse panel and I just read. If you take a look, I've pulled out almost 75% of the fuses. Now the last thing that we're going to do to the fuse panel is we're going to take like a really thick wire, and we're just basically going to jump these fuses. We'll even leave the fuses in there. Just hook the wire to this side here, and then loop it up and bring it to this side. A good solid piece of copper. Because these Hondas do blow the main fuse. That 100 amp, it will blow it. This 50 amp, it will blow it. The 50 amp controls the ignition, and the 100 amp controls the battery. So if you lose those two, this car will die. So I like to personally do that so the cars don't die, obviously. Everything is going great on this car. They are a strong car. They do have a subframe on the front that makes them pretty strong. Again, with the thick front frame rails. The only downside is the front bumpers are quite undersized and weak for this car. We'll be maybe swapping that Mazda bumper on here to really see how that Mazda 3 bumper actually does. Take it off its stock kind of car and weld it onto something else and see if it actually performs very well or not. The only downside to these Hondas to build them is the gas tanks. To take the gas tank out of, I believe it's like a 2000 to 2005 Honda Accord, you have to drop the whole rear subframe. And the promoter that this car will be running at knows the problems about the gas tanks on these cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to cheat the system. What we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole into the gas tank, remove all the gas in the gas tank. Then we're going to disconnect the fuel pump and all that fun stuff so it does not connect to the motor anymore, take the wiring away from it and everything. And then we're going to stick a garden hose in that gas tank and we're going to fill it full of water. Once that's done, we're going to take a Sawzall and we're going to cut as much of the bottom of the gas tank out as possible. Yes, water's going to go everywhere. I'm fine with that. We're going to leave the top open and everything. But by doing that, we're going to cut big chunks out of the bottom of the gas tank so that the promoter knows that there's no gas in the gas tank and there's no gas fumes in the side of the gas tank. But the stock gas tank will stay underneath the car. It's built into the subframe, and to remove it is just a nightmare, especially on Canadian rusty cars. This one here might not be too bad of an issue. I haven't looked too far underneath, but it's not a super rusty car. But I'm not going to chance taking all the subframe bolts out, because if you break them, then the car is basically useless. But other than that, this car is coming along pretty good. First night stripping it, pretty much all stripped. We're filling up the big derby van full of scrap because I can't sell it and I can't derby it, so I might as well use it. So Right now we're at one full car inside of this. Let's see how many cars we can put inside of here. And the one full car is maybe taking up a quarter of the van. So there's plenty of space left to shove another 2 or 3 cars inside of here. But as of right now, this will be the new project, a 2002 Honda Accord with a 1.3 liter 4-cylinder VTEC. Thanks for watching, guys. See you back here tomorrow, and hopefully you guys like the new build. I know it's not a wagon, but I was hoping to take a Camry to this derby, but that Camry is still making me mad, so I don't want to work on it anymore. And today I just wanted to strip a car because of how rough of a day I actually had.